We'll go ahead and get started. Call this meeting to order. It is 6:33 p.m. We'll go ahead and jump into our roll call. If we can go ahead and take care of that, Paula.
District 1 Alderman Miguel Aguirre.
Here.
District 2 Alderman Richard Hughes.
Here.
District 3 Alderman David Emery.
I'm here.
District 4 Alderman Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
And District 5 Alderman Matthew Martinez.
Here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Paula. If everybody can please join us, let's go ahead and do our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead and jump into number 4, and this is Citizens to be Heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the City Council on any issue or any item of the agenda in compliance with LGC Section 551.007. City Hall may not discuss any presented issue, nor any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. Attorney General Opinion, JC 0169. And we do not have anybody signed up on that. We do have Mr. Homer that is signed up for a later agenda item on that. All right, but I'm still going to ask, is there anybody that would like to have any citizens to be heard? Going once, going twice. Okay, so let's go ahead and put on there no comments, Paula. Appreciate that. And we'll go ahead and move on to number 5, consent agenda. And this is a consideration approval of payment of bills. Lynette had actually sent that out for us to go to take a look at. So please take a look at that list.
But at the AT&T billing for the telephones, is that going to be the last billing?
It should be the last billing. Zach and I talked about it. He has reached out to Frontier on another matter. So I don't know if there's going to be a little bit of residual coming in.
Okay.
But on the date frames, because of the ending dates don't go month to month. But hopefully we'll have a little bit more information. I'm not expecting it to rise shortly unless Zach talks to the city.
But we are ending on that particular item.
Yes.
We're just looking at the start dates to rise.
Yeah, rise, and there will be some of the city cell phones that we have are through AT&T, so there's still going to be some
so
costs with AT&T, but generally the majority will be taken off.
And that was my question also, was like, how many phones do we have? Who's all got them? Is it just department heads? Or why are we paying so much on everything?
That's
We all know
that's a long
AT&T,
issue. Yeah.
but
That was one thing we looked at when we first got here. AT&T seemed to be extremely overpriced compared to other places. But we through the cell phones that he's talking about is a company called FirstNet AT&T, in which we have 12 different phones that are in different department hands and departments. So we'll keep those, but the on-site will go away.
okay.
So it should reduce the bill. The average on the AT&T FirstNet, I don't think I have any FirstNet on here, are about $180 for 4 phones.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So council, just to let everybody know in preparation, some of you were here when we went through this before, but just be prepared. Even after we switch out, it usually takes some months for us to get it all straightened out.
So I'm trying
So
to find
even
out
when
if
we
we have any
switch out.
material like we
Yeah.
did last time with the modem. So I don't know exactly what we will have to turn back in. When I first started with the city, we were still collecting, not modems.
It's routers. So until
So-
they receive the routers and
They
they
will still
process
bill
them
you.
and they give you credit, then they take them off the books. So then we do this back and forth for maybe 90 days to get the credit that goes along with that, with turning the equipment. So all I'm saying is be prepared. We will see it still there for a little bit, but eventually it all balances itself out. But it does take a little bit of time.
And that's on the city and the PD phones? Telephone?
It would be the city.
Okay.
It would be
So
the city.
you're
that goes
looking at
along
the
with that.
big amount.
big
right
bill.
there?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
Yeah.
So that's city, that's the phones, that's the internet, that is everything.
So just stand by, but it's good to ask the questions, but just, I want you to be prepared. It's not an automatic cutoff. it ends up until the credit happens, and then it goes back, and then we do this little dance for 90 days.
Yeah, as long as
before
we
it all-
see that decline in so long, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, versus
Just
that
to let
bill
you
and
know.
see it coming in later. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
No, good questions. Good questions. Anything else on the bills?
The Medina County elections, was that the overall cost or was that just a portion of the cost?
That was the full cost that came from
Okay.
Mr. Lupe.
Not bad.
So,
Yeah, I think it was under what they estimated
Yeah.
when we sent y'all originally. But yeah, so that was full cost of what, which is great.
Okay,
And
Mayor,
they-
I'm
and they
gonna
took
make a
care of
motion
everything.
to pay the bills as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor.
Second.
Got a second? Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 6 is the open session to take action on items discussed. But before we get started on this one, council, I would like to get a motion for us to go ahead and take 6B and move it down to after we get done with the department reports. And we're going to be going into executive session on that one. Okay, so I need a motion for us to go ahead and be able to do that.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Okay, got a motion on the floor? Got a second? Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, council. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to item A. And consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 24-20, a resolution in the city of Lytle, Texas, finding that AEP Texas Incorporated requested increase to its electric transmission and distribution rates and charges within the city should be denied, finding the city's reasonable rate case expenses shall be reimbursed by the company, finding that the meeting in which this resolution is passed is open to the public as required by law, requiring reimbursement of the city's rate case expenses, finding that the meeting at which this resolution is passed is open to the public as required by law, requiring notice of this resolution to the company and legal counsel. Zach?
All right, Mayor and Council, if y'all recall, back in February, we received a AEP Texas filed an application to various cities, including ourselves, for seeking a system-wide distribution rate increase, as well as system-wide transmission rate increase. And at that time, we, in working with Thomas Mercado and Lloyd Gosling, attorneys, they had suggested to suspend the rate case until they had time to review it, which was passed by this body via resolution 24-10. So they've been reviewing. We have 90 days to make action from that suspension. And I was contacted last week regarding where they feel we need to go ahead and deny it. They have come to a they've been looking and reviewing everything, and they have found that they believe there's still going to be an increase, but a significant decrease to that increase, if I could say that. And so they obviously have been going back and forth, but because of the timing of it and us needing to make a decision within the 90 days, they're asking us to go ahead and deny the rate case. What that will trigger is once we send that to the company, if that's what this body chooses to do, we'll send it to them. We'll send it to Lloyd Gosling. And then what they will do is they will file basically to the Public Utility Commission for a final determination. But obviously that'll come with Lloyd Gosling's recommendation, in fighting for us and the other cities in what that should be. So that would be staff's recommendation, as well as obviously our attorneys, Lloyd Gosling, for utility stuff, to go ahead and offer a denial of the rate case at this time. So.
Council?
Mayor, I move that we approve resolution number 2420.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Okay.
A second? Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah, worst case scenario is they go ahead and they get the increase and life continues, right?
Yeah. So our hope is that it's going to be an increase of
Mhm.
some kind. Our hope is it's significantly less than they wanted. But, Lloyd Gosling did feel that there's still an increase to be had.
Sure.
But they felt like their ask was egregious.
Mm.
And so there will be an increase to our customers more than likely. What that is, ultimately, it's up to the Public
I
Utility
guess when they
Commission.
hear the voices of multiple cities and
Yeah.
people speaking, they'll take that into
That is the hope.
consideration. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
They didn't give a roundabout what the increase might be or what we're looking at?
So from what, let's see, I'll read you the email that I received. So our current recommendation based on their adjustments is a decrease of 75.6 million to the requested 100.4 million increase to the system-wide distribution rates, and a decrease of 49.4 million to the requested 63.1 million for system-wide transmission rates. This results in an increase of 25.2 million to the system-wide and 13.7 to transmission system-wide, which is significantly less, obviously. So what that comes out to be per customer, I'm not sure. I don't think they have provided that to me, but obviously it anticipated to be less than what we were thinking. So
Okay.
Their service ain't very good.
So,
If their service was a lot better than it is, then maybe it would be okay to.
okay. Any other comments? Okay. All those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Opposed.
So 2 opposed for us to go ahead and deny. This is us denying.
this is denying the rate case.
This
Oh,
is
deny
this
it.
is
This is
denying.
denying the rate case.
What they're asking for.
Right, we're
The
asking-
original
Can you explain it
recommendation.
again?
Yeah.
Okay, let me hold back the votes and let me just go ahead and I want to make sure that you all know exactly what I know what you guys.
want to rate.
I know where you're going, but I want to make sure. So
So I'm going to simplify it a little bit without numbers, right? So AEP asks for X pie in the sky, and Lloyd Gosling has said that's too much of an increase. We still think that you're welcome to an increase, but it's way too much of an increase that you're asking for. And so we're asking the Public Utility Commission now to weigh in on that decision. And so the only way to do that is deny it, and then they take their case before the Public Utility Commission. Does that make
Then-
sense?
Then I agree with
okay.
them.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I just want to make sure.
They're more
I figured that's what it was,
any
but-
further discussion?
No.
I know what you want, but I just want to make sure you're okay. So with that,
It is.
okay, with that in mind, all those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay, yeas carry it for us to go ahead and deny. And Zach, if you can go ahead and work with them,
Yes, sir.
make sure we pass it on. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to C. This update and possible action concerning water well number 2.
I don't.
Zach?
So Mayor and Council, I don't really have an update. We did have. We stuck this on there because we were hoping that we would have something from more concrete from Edwards. But what I can say is that Edwards did want to come out after we did receive the video from their initial attempt. And they were scrubbing that, and they felt like they wanted to send down a more high definition camera than what they had sent. And so they did come back out since our last meeting and actually send that camera down, but we haven't received anything else from them at this time. So we were hopeful, but unfortunately, that's the only real update that I have.
and the second camera is gratis as well.
Yeah, their hope. Yes. Everything on Edwards, no cost to us for that, which is great. Our hope is that will see whatever. They just wanted a little bit better definition of what's happening.
So just to keep you aware, any opportunity of meeting, if we think that there might be a possibility, we're going to keep adding this until we get the information.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So nothing on that one. Let's go ahead and move on. Or no action taken on that one. Let's go ahead and move on to the department reports. This is number 7, and we'll go ahead and have the finance director. Go
Guys,
ahead.
I'm going to sit. I left my long glasses in the truck for driving. I'm not going to run out there real quick. So if I get up, I'm not going to be able to see that. So donations, hang on, that jumped too quick. I guess I did. Okay, donations for the city came in at $97.50. Library was $164.75. Total donations for the city was $262.25. The fire department got 324 different donations that totaled $282.25. Of course, is redistributed back to the fire department. We went from 1,590 water accounts to 1,600 water accounts with a total billing of $74,887. Sewer accounts, we went from 934 to 938. We did install a couple, and gas accounts has not changed, and I don't expect it to. Billings for the sewer were 37,748, and the gas accounts are 32,391. Total gross billings of $145,026 for April. I kind of did things a little different, just kind of more cut and paste, so I didn't have to keep typing it in, where you could see it a little bit more, because a lot of people wanted to see the budgeted numbers since we're getting so close to the end of the year. But our water service fees for the year were right where we budgeted with it, being halfway through at 6 months. We're at $586,000, $545,000 with a variance. That means surplus or not surplus, a variance of where we're at right now to meet budget at $433,000. So based on the $100,000 that we're building and the $120,000 building in the next 6 months, we'll be over budget probably. Water impact fees, a total of $202,420. We're over. We've seen a lot of new building going on across the highway there, so we're seeing a lot more impact fees come in than we expected. So we're already over budget of $82,000. Tapping fees is the same situation. We're over budget at $14,000 for the year. Acquisition fees, we are over budget at $52,000. So, and late fees and service charges are right where they were budgeted at. Any questions on that before I go to the next slide? Gas fund, we budgeted $455,000 for the year. Year to date, we have billed in $309,369, $146,030. It looks like I under budgeted that, but if those were here, I told y'all I kind of went under budget on these numbers just because I wanted to play it safe. But still, based upon the $40,000 that we're bringing in revenue, we will definitely hit our mark there. Sales and meter lines, we haven't really booked anything in. And late charges, they're right where they need to be, actually going to be over. Sorry, my clicker is dying. My clicker is dying. Am I going?
Kind of stuck.
No, you have a huge one. You won't even go out. Okay, I'm going to do it like that. So water, sewer revenue, we budgeted $467,400. Year to date, we have brought in $296,599, a variance of $170. We definitely will hit that mark by the end of the year and probably have a little bit of surplus. Sewer impact fees are the same situation. I knew I had under budgeted that at the end of the year, but I wanted to play it safe because I did not know what the building was going to be on across the highway. So we are over budget $97,000. Tapping fees, again, we're over budget there just for the same situation I just said. And late charges were higher than I thought we were going to be. City sales tax, I went ahead and put it in a graph because Michael loves graphs. Did that make you happy, Michael?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I made a graph for Michael. For May, we brought in $169,196, which Zach and I sat and talked about. I really don't know what drives it. What here in the economics drives our numbers, but we did really well. That's the highest of the year. I'm figuring maybe graduation, buying stuff, that kind of stuff. Yeah. vehicle sales with taxes
there's
coming
a
back
bunch
in with, we did see stuff from Chaparral. Hotel tax, we maxed out a hotel tax too. I can't really give you a rhyme or reason why, but we're at 10,900. That's about, we can get maybe 11,300 is the max we would get. So she's doing really well over there. We budgeted 110. Year to date, we're at 81,000. We've got a $28,000 variance. We're going to be over budget at the end of the year. Franchise tax. There's Michael's graph. In May, it's not negative. It's I didn't take those out, but that's the way I have to book it. Is 43,284. That includes the CPS that comes in at 160,000. So I budgeted 180. We're at 160. We're going to be over budget on that as well. Court fines. We brought in 48,920. We budgeted 475,000. We've got a variance of 118,000. We will definitely make that number as well, and probably a surplus. So updates. Ashley and the judge went to South Padre and did their training down there. She is prepping for her Court 1 certification here, I think in July. Paula just paid for it, I think July, right? Yeah. So she should be doing that. And Brianna is hoping to take hers in December. So hopefully they'll have their certifications done pretty good. And then they are prepping for the warrant roundup, and I can't tell you much more than that about that. Utility billing, the guys have did amazing. Robbie and the guys have put out a total of 455 radio reads. So we went from 275. He's got 81 left on the shelf. I made him count for me the other day. He has put out almost every single one of them. So they are doing really well. If we keep doing that, it's made their life a lot easier. There was no really big issues to report in utility billing at all. Finance, if y'all have been through the office, we did hire a new employee, Veronica. Rodney Rodriguez, she also works part-time over at the Barbacoa place, so some of you may know her. She's fitting in fine. She's learning stuff very quickly. She's getting the accounts payable down. She seems to fit in really good. Budget preparation, Zach and I have been talking on a daily basis. He's doing a ton of it right now, thank goodness, and helping out a lot. And just thank y'all for hiring him. Preliminary budget numbers, we're formatting them. We're pretty much close. We're having the meetings with everybody right now, and I'm back and forth with the auditors on the phone, off and on, all day today. Any questions?
What's the official title of the new hire?
She's an accounting clerk, just accounting clerk.
Assistant?
No, just a accounting clerk.
Just an accounting?
Yeah, so she's going to handle most of the AP, help with some of the journal entries for the accounts receivable, and then maybe a little bit of the payroll and stuff, where I can do what I call my big girl work.
And is that a salary or hourly position?
That is an hourly position.
Yeah, the intention was to move forward with that position. So right now she is full-time? Yes.
Were there other applicants for that position?
We had like 14.
14?
We had like 14, yeah. And we interviewed, more than that. Paul and I did some because you were busy. I'd say we've been 8 or 9.
Did the city send out a courtesy denial letter?
Yes, we did. I did.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yes. That's one thing Zach and I talked about. It's
Yes,
just a respect thing.
yes. Very professional. Thank
Yes.
you.
Any other questions for Lynette? All right. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and turn it over to Paula and get the city secretary's report.
The shortest report.
I saw that.
Very, very short. So we have collected 17,481 just for the month of April. Total will be for year to date 946,257, and our beer license was $998 with a total for year to date $1,863.
I do want to say though, on top of all this thing, we budgeted $1 million for the taxes, and we've brought in almost everything. So, and I've got probably another 30,000 sitting on my desk. So we've hit it very close.
We sure did. And this is just what we had done. I attended the back to school meeting with Mr. Soto back in April, and we actually did the solar eclipse. And I had a Zoom meeting with the city secretary from Spring Valley, and I got a lot of information from her. And we did the Senior Fiesta Loteria. This will be the only two things that I have to tell you guys. Everything else is with Mr. Meadows now for the building permits.
We had a few. And I'll talk a little bit in informational too. I want to pass on.
Yes, sir.
Council questions? Anything?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right.
The batteries a little bit.
It's moving.
You might have to go into.
See if it-
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll try it for a little bit. So again, our COs, just to start off, this is the streets and sidewalks one. This has been completed, so obviously we're just going to continue to make payments. And I'll see going forward if we keep it on here, but just wanted to keep y'all, that we do have that out there, but the work is completed. It did come a little under budget, as I keep saying, so we do have a little bit of room there, maybe for some play, but we'll see also how the other projects in our
That's
CO
the-
stuff come out.
Over by the school sidewalks.
Yes, this is the one that
Are they on schedule?
covered that. Well, as far as we're aware, yes, but I never see them over there, so that's the problem.
So
They seem to work in spurts.
Yeah,
the contract was given, and we question it, but that's how TxDOT. It is a TxDOT contract. They were
Yeah.
given 18 months to complete the project.
Yeah.
It's-
which I
it's
can
a lot of
understand
time.
why when you don't see them for several weeks.
So they have the flexibility to show up a few times and maybe just a mad dash at the very end.
They work us in among other clients
We'll
in
see.
their
Uh,
schedule.
We'll
We
see.
still have 3 other sections that need to be done.
Yeah.
4 little sections that need to be done. So we'll see. But we keep
have-
asking every time that we
Yeah.
talk to TxDOT.
Yeah, and we'll continue to keep on it about it.
Are
So
they gonna curb those sidewalks? I mean, right now, it's just a drop off.
I just believe it's supposed to be a drop off. Yeah,
Now,
they gonna curb
you mean where they connect with the street?
No, where it connects with the dirt. Actually,
where it's just going straight on the.
Yeah, it's just a raw edge on the sidewalk.
No,
and
they
then-
need to level them down.
Okay, I hope they're
We'll
gonna
double check that.
Devil
Yeah,
those
yeah.
out a little bit.
We'll double check.
Yeah, they're
So,
supposed to.
I mean, I can see sprained ankles.
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, some of those places, yes, definitely. All right, so this is our 7.5 CO on the water and sewer. We're continuing to work on the sewer plant expansion plans. Currently about 65%. That's up for about 5%. The water system improvements, which include the 3 projects on the right side, as you see there. So the booster pump and elevated storage tank, the design is complete. And actually, for sure on the booster pump, that'll be going out. You'll see in the paper, there'll be the bid posted for next week. Starting, we'll post it 2 consecutive weeks, and it's open for about a month or so. And then we'll get those bids in. The elevated storage, there's one little piece that I'm waiting on our attorneys with, and we're working on that before we go out to bid on that. But that'll be shortly behind that one. And then the 12-inch water main loop. I actually had a conversation earlier today. Obviously, this is the April report, but I had a conversation today that there's some slight changes that they're making to it, but nothing that's affecting the schedule. They're continuing to move forward, and so we're hoping to get that one wrapped up. And of course, that one, just as a reminder, is very critical to get wrapped up in a timely manner because we do have another sidewalk project down McDonald Street off to 2790 and around. So, and that one is completely free to us. So we want to make sure that we don't lose out on that one. Residential developments. The only update here is in phase 6, which is just some additional completed and some other ones under construction. I can tell you that you'll see next month in my report that they are starting now to build in 2 and 5. So we're now going to start seeing homes being built in phases 2 and 5. I guess they've satisfied what they want to do in 6, and they're moving on to those. So we'll start seeing numbers pop up hopefully in May, at least for under permit and that kind of stuff. Rosewood, they're continuing to move and go out there. So we have 13 completed homes, 27 under construction. 2 on review, and those 6 on hold. For those that may have not been here last time, those are because they are going to be adding the stone Wayne's coat on the front of the homes, and so they're trying to complete some stuff. If you haven't been out there, I would highly encourage you. They're actually working on the park area right now, which is close to the homes, and they have a sign out there that actually says what's going in there, and it's going to look pretty nice, I think, when it's all said and done. A great amenity for our residents that are ultimately be out in that neighborhood. So, Leto Farms, nothing really to report at this time. I'm hoping that we'll have some. There's been a lot of emails back and forth, but we're probably maybe see something in June in front of y'all for that one. So as Paula kind of mentioned, we moved permit and the permit tech under myself recently, and based on that, I'm going to start reporting on the permit data because it doesn't make sense if it's no longer under Ms. Rios to do so. So that's why this is on here now. So just to give you an update, this is our applications received from April and the permits issued in April. Obviously, as expected, given the growth we're seeing on the other side of town is primarily in the new dwellings is where we're seeing those pop up. But then, of course, you have some odd-end stuff, and the other received is, water heaters and pergolas and various systems like that. So these are the inspections for the month of April. Most of these obviously are going to be related to the new homes, but there's going to be some of those other ones that are issued for just the remodels and stuff like that. We had 5 certificates of occupancy. Those were all for new dwellings. The fire marshal COs were given at those 3 locations, and those had all been reported, I think, on Chief's report this last or the first meeting that y'all had this month. And then we did issue certificate of compliance for sprinkler system and remodel. And just as a kind of refresher and distinction, CO is for new structures, remodels, that kind of stuff, or not remodels, like additions. And certificate of compliance, when a structure already has a CO, we're not going to issue another CO. So that's when we would issue a certificate of compliance.
Can I add something on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Before
Before
I forget.
Yeah.
So the M&S retail store, today they contacted us and they're going to do a grand opening in June. It's going to be a boutique that they're going to be doing out there, and then I think it's a tax service.
Okay.
Also, kind of like a shared space. More details to come. I pointed them towards the Chamber of Commerce to go ahead and work with them, since that's usually part of the ribbon cutting and stuff like that.
For sure.
But there'll be something coming up in June, and we'll get it out to all of you all for that. Okay.
Perfect. Contracts, this is just where we're at with all, just so we keep on track with the various contracts we have. Of course, the AT&T still is month to month as we continue to, transition out to the Rise. And then the CPS Energy would be the next, probably a big one, but hopefully we're rolling that off as soon as we can get the bid out there and move forward on that. And you'll see the others kind of coming up there.
So the Frontera, we can put out other bids for that, or can we talk to other people on the IT side and see what we got on that one?
If it is council's, I would say, direction to go out for bid, we can definitely do that. I would hope that because of the bidding process, it takes about a month to month and a half, the full process. So I would hope that if that's a decision of council, that we hear that fairly quickly, so that way we can start moving on that.
I would say put it into an agenda, but also we probably need to look at the contract. I think there is a notification period too that goes along
Sure
with
there
that.
is.
So if you do decide, then there's additional months in there, but we can look at it without a doubt. If we want to do that, let's just put it as an agenda item
We can
for
do
the
that.
next meeting.
If you don't mind,
Yeah.
we're coming into June. If we have enough time on the contract, that just see what else is out there, right?
I will I'll make sure to have an agenda item for our first meeting in June to make sure we have all the details of what notification will need to be done, and we'll talk about the process that that would be.
And then again, one more thing, just because I'm new, what is city yard maintenance? Just because I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, so
I'm catching up with all this.
for sure. So we entered a contract, and that's to take care of all of our city facilities, from mowing, trimming, tree stuff. So that was a contract we have with the company that did. We did that out before I got here, but we entered into contract earlier this year.
So that would be like, for example, the company that's the parks.
Yes. Yeah. So now I will say with the park, there's a combination between our park maintenance employee and this individual, but they've worked out what each take care of when it comes to the park. But all the other facilities, animal control, city hall, the Gidley House. I mean, there's several locations, and we have EDs over
So-
the city facilities.
So again, being new, right? We have this individual who's in charge of Parks and Recreation. Why are we going outsourcing somebody cutting net grass if we provide the equipment for him? Why are we? I mean, is there something that we can see as far as we're paying for city yard maintenance and then we're paying for this individual that could possibly take care of both and cut one out?
I think that would probably be good for us to discuss during the budget and try to figure out, with different opportunities. But so the parks has that along with a few other,
Of course, I understand there's other things that go along with that.
and there's certain equipment that we don't have that the other folks do have when it comes to the trimming and all that other stuff. It's been a while. But I was here as a council member when we went down that road. We took a look at it, and the decision was made for us to go ahead and include them to oversee. Because when you get into the baseball season portion of it, there's other things that come into play that are not included in part of the contract. So they do. But no, I mean honestly, council, yeah, definitely we can talk about that.
I'd like to see those numbers.
It might be good during when we get into the budget and we
Yeah.
start looking into the different departments.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get the information prepared for the council.
Yeah, when we start looking at the parks budget, that's obviously where that employee lives, budget wise. So we'll definitely take a look at that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. All right, code compliance. You'll see a little bit of a jump because he was here all month. He didn't have jury duty and stuff like that, so we had a little bit of a jump from our employee just being in the office. Obviously, overgrown lots and bulky waste are our primary problems, which I'm sure you see, as you're driving around. We've had a few that are just watering excessively or outside of what is required for our restrictions, being in stage 3, and then just some general permit verification as he's driving around, making sure people have, proper permits for work that they're doing. So pretty simple there.
Quick question on
Yeah.
that. Does he have a list of previous infractions? And is he kind of like revisiting or keeping an eye on?
Yes,
them?
he is. Yeah. Yes, he does keep a log of that, and is constantly. I mean, I've had conversations where he's following up on everything and going back to repeat offenders.
Yes.
So,
Thank
yes. Individual homes or lots or whatever. Yeah.
Who's our code of compliance?
Hector Garcia is part-time position. This is just miscellaneous meetings and then that I've had in the month of April, and then just project updates. So as we did accept the Lakeshore Master Drainage Plan, and I am starting, as indicated, start working on easement identification, like we talked about, on some of those lots to areas that we know the residents aren't going to be able to take care of and maintain. So start working on that process to identify that and bring that before y'all. So obviously we had town hall last night for the Stormwater Utility Fund. Which we had about 6 people, I would say, give or take, that showed up there for those that weren't there. Obviously we're working on Rise Fiber Internet Switch, the project as previously alluded to, the sidewalk project. Still finalizing some stuff on the gas system bidding, but that should be out here soon. And then working through some issues on the plugging of well 3, back and forth with our engineer on that. Before I go on to my last slide, I do want to give a brief update. That's not on here and obviously didn't happen in April, but I want to let you know that I did have a conversation with Atascosa County and the chief appraiser over there. As you know from our last budget meeting, there was a discussion of a $20 million difference in the certified number to the to what they are preliminary for 2024, and that ended up in the paper, of course, as well today. Michelle, the chief appraiser down there, did give the mayor a call and subsequently myself. I talked with her today. So as we thought and was discussed during that meeting, that was a inaccurate number that was given. So that 254,000, when we pulled the levy total, the number that we were given for 2023 actually was inclusive of all three counties. So that 254 is Medina, Atascosa, and Bear. Combined, but of course at the top it just indicated Atascosa, so that was a mistake on our part, and not realizing that was all three included within that. So I apologized obviously to her for that error on our behalf, but did want to relay that to you. So there is an increase. I don't have the number right in front of me, but it is an increase from what they had, and I'll make sure to have that at our next budget meeting, just so y'all will have those numbers in front of you. But I did want to relay that because I also told her that I would make sure to write the record for y'all and for her. So yeah, and then just finally, so human resources, we are currently advertising and actually closes tomorrow for the part-time animal care and control tech. This is position that was open because we had to let the previous person go for some issues that we were dealing with. So that was open and advertised, and we have received a couple applications for that. So we'll be reviewing those and hopefully getting that squared away. Of course, we still have the public works labor position, although this is technically Robbie's position, but as he is interim, we're anticipating that he will become the full-time director. It's looking that way, and so we just want to keep it on the radar that would become vacant. We would need to be looking at that, or I'm sorry, that would be the foreman. The labor we have open because of obviously our vacancy and Chris not being with us anymore, and then the accounting clerk, as Lynette indicated, did start on May 20th. So. That's that. We do have the open position in PD as well. That was not listed on here, but I know that they have had 2 applications, I believe, and they're reviewing and going through the process on that. So I think that is it.
Public Works is two positions.
2 positions. One that is definitely out there, or is open.
Considered.
Yeah, and then one that I think will come, and we'll have to make some decisions when we move forward with Robbie and everything. So yeah, that's all I had, unless there's any questions.
Council? All good? All right. Thank you so much, and
Yeah,
thanks
no
for the update for Atascosa too. Appreciate that, Zach. Be able to do that. All right, Council, let's go ahead and go back, and we're going to go ahead and cover item 6 in the action items, 6B. And this is a consideration and possible action concerning resolution number 24-21, a resolution of the city of Lytle, Texas, recognizing possible procedure defects in the adaptation of ordinance number 217, amending zoning of real property from R1 single family dwelling district zoning to B2 secondary business district zoning, and resolving that as a result of concerns for its validity, such as ordinance will not be enforced. So I think in this one, we're going to need to go into executive session. Molly, I do have a question. We do have Mr. Homer here that signed up to go ahead and make some comments. Is this before we go into executive session or after? After? Okay. So we'll go ahead and go into session, executive session now. If we can go ahead and put 7:17. Let's go on into executive session. Council, if you can please meet us in the back. Appreciate it. can actually show us, actually, I'll turn on my Paula, if you can actually show us back in at 8:37. No action taken. And we do want to go ahead and give the courtesy to Mr. Homer if he would like to go ahead and come up and say any comments.
Well, I was, well, first of all, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council, City staff. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I was looking forward to the introduction on the item, because I know I personally was a bit surprised to see it. I know Mr. Harris was as well. He had several doctor's appointments recently and would have been here if he could. But this was a bit of a surprise for us to see this being considered. For those of y'all who don't know me, my name is Casey Homer. I live in Von Army. We've been working on this project, which includes 2 properties that I believe are included with this Ordinance 217 across the street. We've been working with the city for about 2.5 years. I've seen us as not only neighbors, but development partners as the city is on the grow, and our interests are aligned with providing quality, attainable housing alternatives here in Lytle. We have gone through certain steps and tried to go above and beyond the requirements of the codes and ordinances that we've been preparing our plan for. We're in the last stages with it. I felt like a partner, but more recently it feels somewhat adversarial to see this item on the agenda without a phone call or any kind of notice whatsoever. I would see this as the way it's written or the way it's presented seems very odd to me, that it would be proposed, a resolution would be proposed to go back in time 27 years to reverse zoning on specific properties. I was able to find Ordinance 217, and I want to read a couple items from it. About midway through the page, it says, whereas the city of Lytle has followed the procedures prescribed by statute to amend its zoning ordinance, and whereas the amendments to the city of Lytle zoning ordinance made herein would serve to promote the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the citizens of the city of Lytle. And then lastly, on section 5, if any section, provision, subdivision, clause, or part of this ordinance shall be adjudged or held unconstitutional or invalid, it shall not affect the validity of this ordinance as a whole or in any part or provision contained herein. This was signed on August 11th, 1997. I also have the notice for the agenda when it was published back on August 11th, 1997. So I have several questions that I would like to ask.
We are not here to answer
I understand
questions
that.
at this point.
Right. So I have several questions I'd like to just have on the record. I know you don't have to respond, but that doesn't mean you can't respond. So the first one is, I'm very curious what the procedural defects are being alleged and how it's being documented. I've tried to reach out. I reached out earlier. I know you might have been busy. I didn't find out about this till this morning, thanks to your post, which I do appreciate. So I'm very curious to know more about why this is occurring and why it's come up. I'd also be curious why I wasn't notified, or Mr. Harris, that this was being proposed. I'd be very curious to cite any other instances where the city has identified ordinances that they believe did not follow a certain process and went back multiple decades to reverse. I'd be very curious when other instances, this has occurred. From my perspective, it's simply on the other side, somebody else would be, trying to make this argument to reverse their ordinance. I'm a bit surprised to see that the city acknowledging something 27 years ago as inappropriately done and try and go back and reverse it at this stage, given what we've been working on with the property for so long. In light of the B2 allowable use changes, with this proposed resolution being 2.5 years into this and just under $2 million in cost to be at this stage, in light of the B2 allowable uses recent changes, and I know this isn't about that, but a series of events has happened more recently that I understand and agree with the needs to clean up some of the ordinances as it relates to manufactured homes, The issue with B2 is something I brought up very early on. We've also talked about the need for a mobile home permit or license per the city ordinances and what it requires. But I'm starting to see, I thought we were partners, but due to several events in the last couple of months, it seems more less like partners, more like different sides of an equation here. And I don't like that. I don't want that to be the case. I want to have a better relationship with the city. I would ask that this item be withdrawn during this open session to avoid any future liabilities or conflicts on both sides. This is a project we've worked hard on for many years. We have a lot of documentation, and we have to protect ourselves. And we're going to do that in any means necessary. But again, I want us to be partners and have a friendly relationship. We've invested a lot of money into this market. We want to provide a good quality housing alternative. So I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if there's any information that y'all can share on this agenda item, I'm very curious to learn more.
I don't think we have any questions or have anything to share at this moment. Mr. Homer.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the comments. Appreciate that. All right, Council, let's go ahead and move on. Like I said, we had no action on that item, so we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 8, and this is on the informational items to go ahead and share. So I'll go ahead and go around the room and see if there's anything that needs to be passed. Paola, anything? Okay, anything coming around? Do we have anything, Molly, like to share?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Things you want to pass on, I just want to go ahead and pass some thanks along with some information. First, I want to thank PD for taking care of our school events. We had a lot of things that were going on as our school was finishing up, and they did a great job of being able to take care of us and their presence being known. I want to thank PD also for helping us out this weekend. We had a situation with our railroad cars that were blocking one of our intersections, and we were able to take care of that. But them getting there and coming up with a plan B for emergency purposes, that was really good. So appreciate that. I want to thank Paola and also PD, but mostly Paola also with the outreach fair that we had. We also took care of our seniors. That worked out really good, and the staff for helping out and setting that stuff up. So thank you for doing that. We got a lot of kudos. Was it painting lunch? Yeah. We got a lot of great information. I think they're already looking forward to the next one already. And I think the Gazaba group and who else was? Mobile Insurance. They've been doing a really good job with that. I want to say congratulate. Oh, I'm sorry. And I want to thank David. Also, it was a sad situation. We had Buzz, one of our longtime barber, that actually took care of that. I want to say thank you, David, for representing us. We had a lot of things that were going on that time, along with my son going and watching him graduate up north. And thank you for being there and representing the city, especially for Littleton family. I want to say congratulations to Mrs. Smith, the superintendent. If you have not heard, she's retired. That worked out really well in the sense of recognizing her. And I want to say thanks to Paola for the proclamation. So that turned out really good. Congrats to all of our 2024 grads. If you have not heard, we've actually had a business owner in the local area that decided to come in, and they grabbed all the graduates. It was 103, I think. And little by little, they broke them down until they got to 10, and it wasn't based on their rankings or anything. They got 10. And then out of that 10, this business owner gave 9 $1,000 scholarships. And then one lucky person had an envelope that it said a new car, and they got a Ford Bronco. This individual is already committed for next year to be able to help our community, and we're looking forward to that. That was awesome. That was a great way to be able to send off our seniors. Wanted to remind, if you did not see the post, we had the issue with trash today. So if you hear or you get calls from your constituents, please let them know that leave the trash out will be picked up in the morning. We also had a situation, if you haven't seen, about the vehicles. We had some vehicles here and in Granberg that actually got, people went into them the majority of them, except a few, one inside the city limit, was actually broken into. The majority of them were actually left unlocked. So we might have somebody from the SAPD, but they're still looking at that. But it's either the whole vehicle was left unlocked, or they left it unlocked and left keys in there that belonged to another vehicle, and that's how they got into another vehicle. We did have two vehicles around Lytle that actually ended up being pursued. They were able to get identified, but the one that was here, which was a Hyundai, that's the one that actually we can't find it. But that one, the one that was taken. So please let folks know. Don't get complacent. We went through this. I think the first time I saw this was back in 2013, 2014, and it comes in cycles. But we have a little period where it happens, and I can tell you the majority of the time, the vehicles were left unlocked. So we just get complacent, and we don't do that, and it affects our community around here and everybody else. Just a reminder, if you haven't, please pass the priorities back to Zach so we can go ahead and put them all together, and then we'll send it back out for folks to prioritize, and then we can be ready when we do our next meeting. Paola, you're still getting us the disclosure forms, the ones that we need? Okay. So as soon as we get those, we're going to get them to you. Please get them back to her as soon as possible, as soon as we get that, so we can go ahead and take care of that, okay? So we need to complete those as soon as we can on there. And I want to give everybody a heads up in June time frame, which is only like a few, but it'll be in a few weeks, and we'll let you know the date. We do have the San Antonio kind of like high rescue team, kind of like in the fire department. They have the SWAT team, and they cover a large area. One of the things that they've been doing, just because it's been happening more, is doing rescues off of water towers. So San Antonio has come down and asked us if they can actually use one of our water towers, and we're going to allow them to do training here, and it'll be for one day, and it'll be somewhere between 10 and 1 o'clock, something like that. So we'll put out the information in case people start asking, hey, there's people dangling and coming up and down. We'll let you know. Please pass it on that it's a training opportunity that we're going to do. It's a partnership. They already do stuff with us or take care of our region, so this is one of the ways to be able to help them out with their proficiency to be able to take care of that. Okay, with that, is there any last minute, anything
Just
else?
have a question.
Yes.
When I was headed home last night from the meeting at the Sitness Community Center, there were Wilson County Police, Sheriff, and our guys down in front of the ice cream shop next to the donut shop. Do you know anything? Was there a bailout last
There
night?
was a Wilson County that was doing a transfer, and there was a bike that didn't stop. Come to find out, he just couldn't hear.
Mhm.
So they had asked Lionel to assist on the traffic stop, and he pulled over before Lionel got there. So
Okay.
that's what it was.
Was there like 4 or 5 vehicles, lights flashing?
Yeah, because he wouldn't.
And just as I pulled by, they were turning the lights off and dispersing. So
Correct. It was something that I guess maybe on the bike didn't hear behind him, didn't pay any attention, but it was a false pursuit on their part. So everything worked out fine.
okay, good.
That's good. We get a lot of stuff happening around here.
Well, yeah, I thought, well, the mayor didn't jump on his phone in this meeting, so I mean, they call you right away, and it was just strange to see all the vehicles down there.
We get a little bit, but it's all good. It's all good. Good. Anything else? Okay. If we don't have anything else, can I have a motion for us to adjourn? It is 8:51 p.m.
I make that motion.
Got a motion? Do I have a second? Got a second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yeas. Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity. Have a great evening.